Hi, do you believe that people with two hearts can exist? What about a guy with four eyes? These things are extremely rare, but they are nevertheless possible. So let's talk about people with extra body parts because it's very interesting. As surprising as it sounds, gene mutation known as diphalia is not that uncommon. Let's talk about that for a bit. So the first officially recognized diphalia was found in 1609. At the moment, there are about 1,000 carriers on the planet, but most of them hide it very carefully. So this guy from Reddit says that he has, quote, 2 Johnsons in his pants. What's pretty surprising is that he doesn't seem to be experiencing any kind of inconvenience. The guy prefers not to disclose his identity, but he certainly doesn't mind sharing his story. He wrote a whole post in which he spoke in detail about his life and also agreed to answer any questions related to his weirdness. This guy's story became popular pretty quickly. More than once, photographic evidence appeared online. By the way, a year after scandalous posts appeared on Reddit, this guy wrote a whole memoir about his life. And surprisingly, the book sold very well on Amazon. Most people were interested in one question alone. Can a guy use both of his Johnsons at the same time? And according to him, he can. But is there anybody who would wish to have 2 of those things? I very much doubt it. People in tails. It is very rarely that a person is born with a tail. And it's not like it's an extra limb or anything. It's much more like extra skin, kind of. For some reason, many people believe that this anomaly is a direct evidence of the fact that we descend from monkeys. At this point, people very often forget that primates that are closest to us in the leg actually have no tail. There were many cases when babies were born with tails, and we heard these stories many times. But some hundreds of years ago, the tail of one European man caused superstitious fear, and babies with tails were recognized as the devil's servants, and they used to kill them. It is extremely rare that bones are found in those tails, and those definitely can be controlled by the brain. It is true that there are also exceptional cases. In 2002, a boy with a 10-centimeter tail was born in India, and he was immediately recognized as a reincarnation of some deity. One of the deities in Hinduism is an ape-like human. It is described in great epic Ramayana. Children with tails are considered sacred messengers of Hanuman and receive a blessing, but the doctors strongly recommended that the guy gets rid of his tail, which by the way has already grown to 17 centimeters. The guy himself is pretty calm about it anyways, although it's precisely because of the tail that he has to lead a sedentary lifestyle, and he mostly moves around in a wheelchair. Pavel was born with 4 eyes, and not just eyes, he also has additional pair of eyelids and slits. Unfortunately, this made the boy completely blind. The doctors who examined him found that the child had 2 pairs of veins, and the hair on his head were of 2 colors, white and red. Later, it turned out that the boy has more double organs. There was supposed to be 2 children born, and somehow 2 of them merged into a single human being. In 2011, the boy came to visit Eye and Plastic Surgery Center in Ufa, where they performed a very intricate operation on the boy, which actually helped him to stop using Braille alphabet and start to use a regular ABC book. And here's another unique person from India. When he was just a little boy, it became clear that Akshat Saxena was a child with a very unique appearance. He was born with 34 fingers. Akshat has 7 fingers on each hand and 10 toes on each of his foot. The huge number of fingers is a consequence of a thing known as polydactyly, which is an anatomical abnormality characterized by an unusually large number of toes and fingers. Now what about a boy with 8 different limbs? He does exist. Don't go anywhere, guys, and we'll tell you about him in just a few moments. They say this guy is like an octopus with hands all over the place. We'll also tell you about a girl that was born pregnant and a lady with 3 breasts. At the beginning of this century, a very unusual boy was born in India. 2 fetuses merged in a womb, and that's why he was born with extra limbs. More legs and arms grew out of his body chest. A rare congenital anomaly seriously interfered with his development. He was forced to sleep only on his back and move around very carefully. Over the years, Deepak started to develop neuroses because of strangers' constant attention. The boy's parents had no money to make expensive surgeries that would allow him to get rid of those extra limbs. Only when Deepak turned 7 years old, doctors from a large regional clinic offered his family a free operation, which would otherwise cost about $80,000. And the good thing is that Indian doctors cope with the difficult task very well. And this is quite possibly the rarest case in this collection. A Colombian woman was expecting to have twins, but only one baby was born. So where did the second one go? Well, it turned out that the newborn girl was pregnant with her own sister. However, this was not pregnancy in the conventional sense of the word. In this case, the girl's twin has become a parasite of sorts. Doctors have seen this before. For the first time, such anomaly was described at the beginning of the 19th century. They call it fetus within the fetus, a kind of biological recursion, you could say. There are about 200 known cases today. Fortunately, in this case, doctors were able to identify the fetus inside at a very early stage. Luckily, everything turned out well. The baby was operated on the next day after it was born, and now the mother feels well. Pregnancy pathologies are not yet fully studied by doctors. For example, what are your chances of being born at the same time from the same parents at the same second as your brother? Who, by the way, won't be your twin. Sarah Rainfield knew that she carried 2 babies at once. This became known after her first unfortunate pregnancy in 2007. That time, the poor woman lost her twins, and the doctors told her that she had very little chance of getting pregnant again. But 2 years later, a real miracle happened. Sarah became the mother of 2 wonderful twins, which didn't look alike. Such cases are extremely rare, 1 in 2,000 cases. And these kinds of women rarely get pregnant. Chances are about 1 in 5 million. American Jasmine Treadwell was the first woman in the world who decided to get herself a 3rd breast. Turned out that finding a doctor who would agree to do something like this wasn't easy. The girl received about 50 rejections before she finally found a surgeon. Operation cost her $20,000. When rumors about Jasmine spread on the internet, many did not believe that this was a true story. They were saying that the girl decided to take such radical and desperate steps in an attempt to become famous and show up on television. In 2011, just before Valentine's Day, Tyson Smith found himself in a hospital room. He was due to have a very complex heart surgery. Doctors from San Diego Hospital faced a truly difficult task. The man's old heart couldn't operate anymore. Plus, there were lung problems, and that meant that even a heart transplant would not help because the new one would not receive enough oxygen and would most likely stop almost immediately. In order to solve the problem, specialists decided to resort to use a very new and unique technique. The procedure, known as a heterotopic heart transplant, involved implanting a second heart into the patient's chest cavity. And so Smith's sole heart was connected to the new one. This way, the old heart continued to deliver blood to the lungs. So the operation went well, and Tyson Smith has fully recovered, and he is now a proud owner of 2 hearts that seem to be working properly. By the way, the final stage of the transplant ended right on Valentine's Day. Thank you for watching this video, guys. If you like it, make sure you subscribe and press the like button, and we'll be seeing you another time.